Hello everyone, Bill Parish here from GTT Audio, and welcome to the channel today. Today we've got a special guest, Dr. Stefan Schwehr, CEO and owner of Audionet, coming to us from Berlin. So let's bring him in. Hey everyone, here's Stefan from Audionet. Welcome to the channel, Stefan.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Welcome and nice to have me.
You know, it's you've been leading Audionet for what? A little almost 2.5 years now?
Yeah, it's two and 3 months. Yeah, almost
2
and 3
years,
months now.
3 months.
I started in early 2019.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with you. Just to
Thank you.
briefly give everyone a little bit of a background, I guess when Audionet lost its builder, Adidacron, you stepped in and bought all the assets and bought the brand from Thomas Gessler and have decided to manufacture. You moved to a brand new facility and you guys have been manufacturing everything ever since.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. And I guess I was there 6 months ago. October no.
It's more.
It would be 18 months ago.
October, that's correct.
October 2019, and just had a blast. But I was completely blown away by the space that Audionet has right in Berlin. You've got 3 floors and an industrial complex, and it was mind-boggling. I haven't seen an audio company. You know, it's an industry that started with people building components on kitchen tables and in a garage, and then I walk into this massive facility that it just really blew me away.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, but when I needed to move from the one place in Berlin where the former company was located here to Spandau, I needed to have these roundabout 700 square meters because of we also need some storage place for the stuff, for the components and for the housings we built for the Heisenberg and the Stern. So there are also big shelves which needed to be integrated. And finally, the reason was also, and this is what I wanted to tell you also now, we have completed the new listening room, the listening lab, which also takes more than almost 60 square meters. And without the third floor, I couldn't have managed to install this listening room. And therefore, even though it's still it's some space, so there's a space left, and we can improve and we can grow in the company. But I'm very happy with these 3 stories here.
Well, I'll tell you, it's I cannot wait to come back. That's for sure. After being locked up, after being locked up with this pandemic and not traveling, certainly miss Europe and visiting Berlin. It was my second time in Berlin, and what a fantastic city! And you and Thomas were just a great host, and I look forward to visiting the listening room and seeing what else you guys are doing.
And that's also a very important point, that being in Berlin, we have also the opportunity not only to host you, but also all from everywhere in the world, the people which love to visit Berlin, they can have sound sessions here directly throughout the sightseeing, so to say.
Yes.
So this is also a good idea to be here in Berlin together with this listening room.
Yeah, it's terrific. You can host host visitors. It's really it's really special. I hope to come back with some VIP clients at some point in the future.
Yeah, this would be perfect.
Yeah,
this would be perfect. And yeah, you as soon as we can travel again, then definitely you are always invited, and please come here.
Well, I promise you I will be, and we'll do a tour of your factory, and we'll sit down and do another video. So, all right. So you took over in 2018. At the end of 2018, and then you slid Thomas over to the international sales manager, and he's been terrific with that. So, yeah, he's been awesome to work with. But you weren't really in high-end audio originally, so tell me, what your background is. How'd you come into high-end audio? What got you involved to lead Audionet?
Yeah, this is to some extent quite a long story, but I will keep it short.
Yeah, try to keep it somewhat short.
But one thing is really important. The reason why I decided to study electronics at my 18th years of 18th, was because I was also every youngster did this at that time, built his own amplifiers and try to have its own amplifiers at home, and because other amplifiers were too expensive. That's the reason uh, why I studied electronics, and then I made my way. I stepped away a little bit. I made my way through the um, automotive industry, but in the automotive industry, I also um, was always in contact with the interior electronics of German cars. In particular, was with Mercedes, and we did some impressive audio equipment in Mercedes. So this was how I was acquainted with high-end electronics and high-end amplifiers in the automotive industry. Um, we all know these brands which are very high level in German and also United States cars, and Mercedes did many impressive things, and that's the reason why I got throughout the years always in contact with the high end music in the automotive industry. And yeah, by at the end of 1918, 2018, not 19, 2018, there was a point to look for a new challenge, and at that time, this was to some extent by how do you call it? That Thomas called me. We had a relationship before, because I was heading was part of the board of another supplying company.
That's right. Yeah, you were what were you,
And
CTO of another company that was actually
yes, I was
working? Yeah, you were working with Thomas already at an AudioNet. I remember. It might have been 2018. You displayed at High End in Munich.
17. It was
Okay.
2017 that we presented together a super equipped Porsche car with 34 loudspeakers, and
I'll never
with a
forget that.
real three dimensional sound on every each of the seats, and this was very highest level perfection of in-car sound. And that's why I got acquainted and got in contact with Thomas Gessler before. And then he needed to 1 year later he needed to tell and to inform partners and friends that Audionet is now in difficulties, and that was the reason. At that time, I was also in about to look for a new challenge, and then I said, "This is what I always wanted to be: heading my own company, having my own company, being in electronics, and the best thing is in audio electronics."
Yes, yes.
And that's how I got uh, in contact with the situation, and I invested. And as you were mentioning before, restarted the new company, hired the old people, which are still about here to produce in the manufacturing part, and yeah, and ever since now, these last 2 years, we growed and are now in a situation that is pretty stable.
Yeah, no, you guys are doing absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you're building components, you're delivering. I mean, I've got what, three sets of Heisenbergs and three pre or Stearns, and you got a pre G2 and you deliver watts. I think watts are. Thomas told me he was joking with me last week. He said, "I remember a time when you said that you couldn't sell an integrated amp." And I've been
Hmm.
ordering. I've been ordering these watts every week. So it's yeah, it's. You guys make phenomenal products,
Hmm.
and and it's great to have. This industry is filled with a bunch of hobbyist run businesses, and it's a lot of shoestring stuff. But you step in as a business person with an engineering background, and it's just been like clockwork. I mean, things are, things work good, and that's what's refreshing.
Yeah, maybe I should amend also that this our slogan, scientific magic.
Yes.
This is definitely a slogan which fits also to me personally, because we don't do any voodoo. Everything what we are doing is scientifically proved, and we know why we are doing this, and what the effect is uh, for improvement of the whole sound system.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly what it is, and I know you guys keep some secrets tight to the vest, but something in that circuitry is very, very special because Audionet does three dimensionality, holographic sound like nothing I've ever heard before. I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's when clients come in and they say, it's visual. You see it. Not
Hmm.
only do you hear it, but you actually see it.
Hmm.
You have this layering that
Yes.
only the very most solid state takes place on the front wall behind the speakers, just on a flat plane. But no, AudioNet places instruments in a three-dimensional space throughout that
Hmm.
only the very, very best tube amplifiers do. But that's not to say that you sound like tubes, because you don't. But you have that incredible action that the best tubes have. So
Hmm.
I find it just so unique. Have no idea how you do it. Don't really care. It's just all about
it,
it's about the involvement. It's
yeah,
emotional.
it's the research of the maximum authenticity. And the maximum authenticity you can achieve by decreasing all the noise as much as possible, by decoupling every channel as much as possible, and to increase the speed of the whole amplifier as much as possible. These are at least three of many secrets, how to bring this authenticity to the loudspeakers.
Well, I know that you guys have I mean, not only do you guys sound great, but you're one of the absolute best measuring
Hmm.
the entire electronics line. I was going to say amplifiers, but I mean the preamp and everything as well. Everything measures phenomenally. You are high bandwidth where you need it. I mean the preamp goes out the 3 megahertz. The amps are what 500, 700 kilohertz.
Kilohertz. Hmm.
Yeah, you've got the highest damping factor in the industry. You're in the top three. I don't know I know the top three brands being one of them, but I don't know the order for rise time, but slew rates. But yeah, you're there. I mean, you guys have the best, and the reviewers talk about it as well. They recognize it. We've got a bunch of reviewers over here in the U.S. that use your electronics as
Hmm. Because you
it's
hear it. It's not voodoo. You hear it when you come into a room where the units are playing. You hear it, and that's definitely what the difference makes. Yeah.
So
So.
that
Mhm.
leads into a question. What would you say? Do you find that component choice or circuit design is more important, or are they equal?
Yeah, this is definitely a good question. And circuitry is um, is definitely one thing, and there may be also different philosophies But our philosophy is definitely to work with Class AB amplifiers because of the opportunity to make them as fast as possible. And what we are doing, if you look at the circuitry of Class AB amplifiers, you have in the amplifying stage you have two transistors working against each other, and this is a typical sign for maximum speed. As I was mentioning before, one of the keys of authenticity, maximum speed. And once you have decided for such kind of a design, you have a certain DNA which you are hearing when you're listening to these devices, be it a smaller amplifier like a SAM20 SE, up to the fully integrated amplifier Humboldt. The circuitry is almost identical in the channel where you in the sound path, but you bring you try to make it perfect while using different components. It means in the higher priced amplifiers, you use more capacities. You separate. You make a still better separation from the channels. You have particular design to shorten every distance in order to shorten the signal pass, to make the signal pass as short as possible. So it's simply answering the question. It's 50%. It's 50% circuitry, and it's 50% components and design of the whole amplifier in its box.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, I know you guys take great care in the parts. I mean, even your fuses are special fuses that you deliver, which a lot of manufacturers, they design these circuits and then they give you a 20-cent fuse, which I know the fuses that you guys supply cost an arm and a leg. So, yeah, it's but I believe that the circuit design is there as well.
That's really incredible regarding. We were only talking about circuitry and components, and now it's also to have the material inside the component. So having silver, gold, or rhodium fuses, really, and I would believe that before, but it's really, you can hear the difference in the materials by the end of the day, because the rest of the amplifier is that perfect that you hear material differences in some places, which are difficult to explain because it's also difficult to measure. But if you hear it, then there must be something special in these materials.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know you guys listen to all the materials. I mean, down to the capacitors or even the 2 or 3 inch piece of wire that goes between the board and the binding post, or the binding post themselves. It's everything is made for a choice. Yeah, that's really awesome.
But this is something when you want to achieve the maximum, you really need then to improve every 0.5% in the signal pass.
So I know when you guys, what Thomas had described in the past as the Lighthouse Project, and just with the Stern and the Heisenberg, and then the Humboldt follows that suit, just making it the absolute best of the best. And there was some new technology that was invented there, but I think you guys probably leaned on some of the old as well. How scalable are your designs? I mean, because there's not a ringer in the bunch. I mean, from your pre-1 G3 entry level preamplifier, or your first offering, it's really not an entry level at all by performance wise, all the way out to the Stern. I mean, it's phenomenal. Or if you take a SAM 20 SE or a Watt or a Humboldt, you see how they grow. So is it the for the most part, the same basic circuit that just somehow you're able to scale it up and down?
I would say in this case, it's to 80% the same principle of circuitry. It's not the same circuitry,
Right.
but it's the same principle. So these principles, they give all these amplifiers, as we say, a certain DNA.
Yeah.
And therefore even an amplifier which is not that expensive than the bigger one also sounds like an Audionet amplifier, and the scalability is given in power. Simply speaking, when from the SEM 20 SE, from the watt to the Humboldt, now describing the fully integrated amplifiers, then we can scale the output stage for more power. And as I was mentioning before, you can also scale all the measures in order to reduce noise, THDs, signal to noise, or improve signal to noise ratio by the amount of material used and the quality of material used. Yeah, as you're saying, we use best capacitors with a very low loss angle, and all these stuff. It's quality. It's also, but by the end, also the number of pieces. So this is scalable, and then you see the result in the different amplifiers, which are all the housings are full. That's
yes.
what we all, yeah. If you open a Humboldt, for example, there's no place, there's no space left. Of course, this doesn't fit. This doesn't fit into a SEM 20 SE box, and therefore this needs to be a difference.
Yeah, I'm assuming every part in there is actually being used.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just stuffing boxes, but yeah, there's been some great photos. I'll pop one on the screen here and let everyone see just how filled that Humboldt is. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah,
and the same with the Stern and the Heisenbergs and just everything. It's not like you make like the pre-1 G3 I was saying. I mean, it's a very small little box because you don't need a big box. I mean, there's some manufacturers out there that are building a big box and putting a weight in it to make it seem heavy, and and you pop the top and there's nothing inside. You guys build it for what you need, not for aesthetics or not for trying to impress someone by its weight.
not at all. Not at all. We have for every, let's say, for every pocket, for every portemonnaie, we have a solution. Yeah.
Yes, excellent.
So far in the high end world. Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of keep this short. We will revisit again. Initially,
hopefully.
yeah. Well, we'll definitely revisit again. And I originally I wanted to meet you at Munich last year and shoot a video, and who knows if it'll actually happen this year. But when we get in person, we're going to shoot a video. I'm going to do a tour of the factory. I can, during this video, I pop some photos up of some of the space that you have when I toured, some photos I took, so people can get somewhat of an idea. But Stefan, I want to thank you for joining today. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to more of these.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was really nice to talk to you, Bill. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I found that very insightful. Thanks to Stefan for taking part, and I can't wait to do more interviews and have more conversations with him and share them with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.